Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Unrest. My name is Marlo, and when we last left off, we were playing as Asha. She is the princess of the kingdom. Her parents, it seems, were killed, and she managed to escape. She has been living in exile in the slums of Bimra for a year. Now, our current quest is to... Okay, there's a corpse up there. Our current quest, according to the journal, is to try to find that old sick man some medicine and to try to beg for some bread, or steal some bread, or something. But first, we're going to explore what's over here. Okay, we've got a lot of people hanging around. There's some black market traders over here. And a beggar. Let's see if we can talk to the black market traders. Okay, there's some flavor text here. It's kind of overlapping, so it's hard to read. Can we talk to any of these guys? Let's talk to the beggar. Haven't seen my wife in months. Went out one day to beg. When I got back, she'd vanished. Maybe she ran off. Maybe not. I don't want to know. Okay, so nothing really to do here. At this point, so let's go back, and there is a corpse marked up here, so let's see if there's anything that we can do in this general area. Slum girl, onlooker, morbid onlooker. Okay, there's somebody with a name. Let's talk to this person. Alright, now let's see if there is a journal entry on this person. I don't think there will be. Yeah, there's not. So let's talk to him. Hello, girl. My name is Jairam. Have you seen a man with pox scars all down the side of his face, a bald patch, and blackened fingernails? Have you? I could say, yeah, he hangs around a few streets away. I could lie and say, I haven't seen anything. Keep me out of this. Or I could be hard and say, food first, or money. Well, we don't really know much about this situation. Why don't we help this man? Let's see what happens if we are approachable and say that he hangs around a few streets that way. Let's hope he's still there. You may have saved a life, kid. Oh, well, okay. He's disappeared. Okay. Is there anyone else to talk to up here? A beggar, a morbid onlooker. Oh, okay, we can talk to this person. Found him like that this morning. You know him? Could be wary and just shake my head and not say anything. I could be hard and say, what's wrong? Be hard and say, no. Has he got anything on him? And I'll shake my head. I'm waiting to see if anyone claims him. Any friends, family, or one like that? He has to have somebody. Most people do. Curious. What? Will that make you feel better? Curious. Do you have anyone else? Or I could be wary and leave. I think I'm going to go with number 1 here. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe I'm just wasting my time, she says. It's been so long since I've had an ordinary morning. Out of everything, that's what I miss most. Ordinary mornings where I know what to do and there are no surprises like this one. I could be approachable and say, same. I could be approachable and say, I miss the people I loved. I could be approachable and say, I miss regular meals. Or I could be approachable and say, I miss everything about the way life used to be. Why don't we say, I miss the people I loved? Like our dead parents. She continues to stare at the body. She says nothing else. It seems in no hurry to move on. Okay. Can we talk to this person? Couldn't have been a Naga. Naga wouldn't have left a body. Just bones. Oh, that's nice. Can we talk to the corpse? Of course not. I just thought I'd check. Me? Nah. Don't know. Thought it might have been my cousin. Ended up coming over for a look. Alright, so I think, according to the map, that we need to come over here to this area. So that's what we'll try and do if we can find a way. I think we can get over here this way. Yeah, over this way. Okay. We'll maneuver our way back through the crowd. And, alright, there's a philosopher, J-Deep's men, and another man, and another chorus, and a desolate man. Let's see if we can talk to the philosopher. Alright, child. Look, is there any... No journal entries. Didn't think so. I think that button just appears on everybody that you can talk to, whether they actually have a journal entry or not. Child, listen to me. I know you can't read, but you can think, and that's all that's important. Tell me, what do you think of Ranveer's teachings? It can be hard and say don't care. His bread has saved my life once or twice. 2, the Naga are dangerous. Don't need him to tell me that. Could be wary and say he's going to get a lot of people hurt. I can be approachable and say I can read, or I can be cautious and say nothing. I think I'm going to be wary and say he's going to get a lot of people hurt. Number 3 here. And, alright, his opinion of us is increasing. Says, I think I have little to teach you, child. I only ask that you teach others. Even young as you are, you're wiser than many. Yeah, well, it's not hard to see that Ranveer's teachings are likely to lead to trouble of some kind. Let's see if we can talk to this guy. Alright. We're not here to take him away. Ranveer, that is. J-Deep has us making a list of anybody in the slums who dies a virtuous death. Something about getting the nobles to recognize our plight. Cautious, I see. Hard, take him away, he stinks. Or, curious, can I see this list? I doubt they're going to show me the list. Why don't we go with number 1, I see. Nobody knows his name, though. Someone doesn't come around here soon, we'll have wasted our whole day. Well, more than we were already wasting it. Okay. Can we talk to this one? You know his name? No? Go away. Okay. Just a little flavor text. Can we talk to this guy? The skeletal man stares at the wall. He doesn't seem to notice you. Wary. You alright? Approachable. What's wrong? Or we can ignore him. Let's ask him if he's alright. He hugs his legs tighter to himself and continues staring at the wall. We can say, seriously, you want to talk about it? 2, never mind, I guess, or we can just leave. Let's try to talk to him, because, you know, why not? There's nothing left to talk about. I'm done. Hard. In that case, have you got anything to eat? 2, it can be approachable. You're still alive. What do you mean you're done? Or we can leave. I guess we might as well continue to talk to him. So let's go with number 2. I'm no good to anyone. Not anyone. There isn't much food left. Every day I eat means someone else doesn't. Maybe someone else's kids. Maybe someone else's wife. I can't do this anymore. I can be approachable and say, I don't want you to die. Does that help? I can be curious and say, that's the way it feels, huh? Or I can say, I guess you've got a point. What makes you more worthy of a crust than anyone else? I think I'll go with... I don't know. None of these responses seem outstanding, but I guess I'll try number 2. That's the way it feels. I don't deserve anything. I might as well just die, he says. Hasn't someone ever loved you? Then maybe nobody does. We keep trying anyway. And fine, you're determined to die. Go ahead, I'll leave you in peace. Let's be approachable and say, then maybe nobody does. We keep trying anyway. The man lets out a deep breath. From now on, he seems to ignore you. Well, all right, we're spreading good cheer around the slums. There's a priest and J-Deep's men, and okay, well, let's see if we can talk to the priest, perhaps. Are you sick? You look sick. Here, take this medicine. Take it. Well, we could just take the medicine, I guess. We could say I'm not, but I know someone who is, or be approachable, say no, I'm not. Why don't we say number 2? I don't care, just take it, sell it, give it away, wherever you want. There. Now, I'm all out of medicine for today. Don't follow me out. Let's add a long sigh of relief. All done until tomorrow. That's interesting. Okay, we've got map updates. We can take the medicine to the Black Marketeer, or we can take it to the sick man. That's... Oops. Oh, okay. Let's go to our journal and see if any... Okay, no people have updated. No locations have updated. No history updates. Let's check out our quest. Alright, a priest in one of the districts gave me a vial of medicine. I'm not sick. He didn't even bother to ask. What's the catch? Okay, we don't have any completed ones. Starve or don't starve. Okay, that's still says what it says. And inventory. Oh yeah, I guess we have some medicine. Times are truly desperate when a vial of medicine sells for less than a loaf of bread. Let's see if we can talk to this fella. Fruit cart turned over. Naga were on it, just like that. Hold up, where are you going, kid? I could be approachable and say to the temple to wait for food. I could say nowhere, I'm just going, or I could say I'm starving to death, why do you care? I think I'll say to the temple to wait for food. So that's how you live, is it? Lazing about in the streets like a stray dog waiting for a better man to throw you scraps? You think Ranveer wants stray dogs on his doorsteps? Be approachable and say I'm sorry. Be wary and be silent. I could say that he only gives us food because he wants to help us. Be hard and say I'm starving. What else am I supposed to do? Or I could be ironic and say, my mistake, I thought you were all here to help us. Let's be wary and say he only gives us food because he wants to help us. This is how you reward his kindness. Bankamundi teaches us to make lives for ourselves, not to live on charity and handouts. Get back to the streets where you belong. Alright, that'll do. Here, girl, I've got a scrap of bread. You look like you're starving. That's it. Eat it up. You know who I am? I'm JD, and these are my men. They may not be the most kind and understanding, but they've probably already saved your life. Without us, the Naga would have already taken everything they wanted and left the humans to starve and rot. I've got an entire loaf of bread here, and I'll give it to you if you promise me one thing. If you ever see anyone who wants to tear down our order, anyone who attacks my men or Ranveer's priests or the council's guards, you come to me and tell me everything. Promise me that, and the loaf is yours. Well, this is interesting. I didn't expect this. I could say sure, whatever. I could be curious and say, why would someone want to work against you? Or I could be suspicious and say, forget it. Well, we probably need the bread. But I have to admit that I'm curious. So I think I'm going to go with choice number 2 here. Let's try this. Ah, that increased his opinion of us. He's now appreciative instead of critical. That's a good question. There's 2 kinds of anarchists. There are renegade sects who don't like that the high priest of Bankamundi is on the council instead of one of their own priests. And then there's Naga, who aren't content with the representation their Naga counselor already gives them and want to rule by strength alone. Lately, a priestess named Kanika has been uniting the 2 of them. If anyone you know lost a home to fire recently, she's probably behind it. You'd think things were bad enough already. I can be approachable and say, fair enough, I'll keep an eye out. I can be wary and say I can't promise anything, or I could be suspicious and say I don't want to get involved. Keep your bread. I think I'll actually be approachable so we can have the bread, and, we don't necessarily have to do it, I suppose. If we find out things, we can make decisions from there, but having the bread may be useful. So I'm going to say this because I think it will result in us receiving the bread. So fair enough, I'll keep an eye out. Alright. That's what I like to hear. We're in this together, you know. Now run along. If anyone bothers you, let my men know about it. Okay. Alright, our map is updated, and there's a familiar wayfarer. Ah. Okay, the medicine... Okay, so we're gonna go see who this familiar wayfarer guy is. That's interesting. And now, let's see. We have an ear of bread, A little crusted, but not too bad. You wonder where the trick was supposed to be. Oh, right, that's the bread that other fella gave us. And a fresh-cooked loaf of bread, courtesy of J.D., the finest sight in Bimra. Alright, so we have an entire loaf of bread. Alright, a man named J.D. was guarding the steps of the merchant district and wouldn't let me through. He gave me some bread in exchange for my promise to report any strange things I see in the slums. Now, yeah, so I think it was useful to make the promise, but we're in desperate circumstances, so we may or may not actually hold to that promise. Avinash. That name is familiar to me. Let's go to our journal. Avinash is our uncle. Okay, that's right. I knew I recognized that name, but I couldn't remember who it was. Alright, it's our father's brother who travels abroad frequently. He's a keen student of history and has taken it upon himself to teach you. Let's talk to him. Asha, I found you. The nightmare is over, for I finally found you. I could be approachable. Uncle? I could say, curious, you escaped. How? Or I could be wary and say, I don't know you. Leave me alone. Now, you know, it is entirely possible that Avinash is a traitor and in league with the people who assassinated the king and queen, our parents. But we have no way to know for sure, I suppose. So the question becomes, do we trust him or not? And I think I'm tempted to. At least we'll talk to him and ask him how he escaped. Look, the day we were all to die, one of my personal guards confessed VJ had bribed him to end my life. I was too late to help any of you, and I knew that once his coup was complete, VJ would kill me the moment I surfaced. I'd be approachable and say I was sure you were dead. Oh. Sorry, bumped the microphone there. I could be hard to say there's nowhere in this city that's safe, especially not for me. I could be wary and say, all right, lead the way. I think I'll say, I was sure you were dead. And he responds, I have spent 12 months searching for you, 12 months of suffering VJ's futile leadership, that thug Shyam's iron grip on the slums, Ranveer and his gutless fanatical cronies, 12 months of waiting for a day we could make things better, and now that day has come. It could be hard and say, that day is not going to come. We have nothing. Well, here we go. I could be wary and say, look, I can't really trust you. How do I know you're not working for VJ? Or I could say, so what are we going to do? Or I could be suspicious and say, do you really expect me to follow you? No one would be so stupid. I think I'm going to go with number 2. This is literally the question I just posed to you, the viewer. So let's try this choice and see where it gets us. Follow me, and I will show you what I have built. I know that before long, this city will ring out with your name. Bimra will raise you up on its shoulders and end VJ's false reign asunder. Rend VJ's false reign asunder. Alright. You don't know where Avinash has been or what he's been planning. However, you have a feeling tomorrow is going to be very different from today. And our traits have not changed. And we will hit the continue button. And will we still be playing Asha? I don't know. It's a very good question. Oh, okay. We appear to now be playing another character. Okay, I'm going to pronounce this name as Bhagwan, because that's the best I can do. So, sorry if that's way off, but that's the move I'm going to make. Alright, let's look at our traits. We are a priest. Bhagwan is priest caste. He's studied priestly ways his entire life, and Ranveer's temple is not the first he has belonged to. And he is a father. Bhagwan has 2 children. If he does not work, they do not eat. Alright, here's our background information. You are Bhagwan, priest and father, 38 years old. Bhagwan is an initiate to Banka Mundi's temple, that is to say, Ranveer's temple. Hailed as the voice of the poor, Ranveer is one of the most powerful and popular figures in Bimra, so much so that VJ offered him a seat at his council. With the help of J-Deep, a local militia captain, his believers provide food, medicine, and order to the parts of the city ignored by the nobles. Bhagwan has been a priest all his life, and while he has heard that serving Ranveer is a different and dangerous undertaking, all he knows is that it will feed and clothe his children. So far, that has been all he has needed to know. Alright, so obviously our children are very important to us, just like any parent. We'll hit the continue button, and okay, High Priest Ranveer is speaking to us already. Now, he is friendly to us. Well, he's accepting on the friendship scale. He's critical on the respect scale. Again, I think that's kind of the default when somebody is your teacher or boss or leader, and he's not afraid of us. Let's check out our journal entries. Alright, we've got 2 journal entries. One is for the slums. The priests and priestesses talk about the slums as they would talk about a battlefield. Every so often they come back scared, shaken, or even wounded. And then the Temple of Banka Mundi. It's hard to sleep nights in the temple. The inner rooms are always full of boxes being unpacked. J-Deep's men coming in off patrols to give reports, and priests and priestesses receiving their instructions. Outside the temple, the din and clamor of the slums is omnipresent. We have 3 history entries. Let's check them out. The slums. Before today, the slums had entered your life only as dark rumors and cooking smoke from the west. You're aware that some of its denizens are farmers who deserted rioting or drought-ridden farmsteads, injured veterans of the last big war, and men and women driven out of their caste by poverty, debts, or starvation. But your grasp of the bigger picture is nonetheless tenuous. You've been given a vague sense that people end up here through foolishness or improper choices. I wonder how true that is. The teachings of Banka Mundi: do not take from another, do not harm another, and protect others from harm. And we have an entry for the temple itself. Your fellow priests used to gossip about how quickly the temple of Banka Mundi was gathering followers, both laymen and other members of the priest caste, but no one was prepared for the mass exodus of priests from your own order and others towards the temple of Banka Mundi. You'd never heard anything like this happening like this happening in Bimra's theological history before, seemingly overnight. Ranveer's word became one of the only words in the city. And people? Okay, we just have a few people here, so why don't we go through them quickly? Ranveer. Ranveer became the high priest of the temple of Banka Mundi a few years ago after his visions of a free, prosperous Bimra spread throughout the slums. Ranveer teaches compassion towards the poor and helpless, an end to the notion that the slums are expendable, and wariness towards Naga immigrants. Alright, Daya. The man who works most closely with initiates to Ranveer's temple. He's been in temple of Banka Mundi for 15 years, 10 years longer than Ranveer has. So, that's interesting. I wonder why they tell us that he's been there longer even than Ranveer. Chatura. She's probably the smartest priestess in the organization. She's been doing this longer than almost anyone, and what she lacks in enthusiasm, she makes up for in efficiency. Priya. You don't know much about Priya. She's quiet and keeps to herself a lot, especially after performing her tasks. Prabal. He usually passes out medicine. He's about your age and in worse health. And J-Deep. You hear J-Deep was born in the slums. He comes through every so often, but he never stops to talk to anyone but Ranveer. Alright, so now the High Priest Ranveer is speaking to us right off the bat. Alright, your initiation has begun, Bhagwan. What you say now carries from my ears to the ears of Banka Mundi. Speak from your heart. Hide nothing, for you stand in the presence of something far greater than yourself. Okay. We can be firm and say, "So I swear, High Priest Ranveer." We can be relaxed and say, "I will speak honestly." Or we could be hesitant and not say anything. Let's be firm and say, "So I swear, High Priest Ranveer." However, I'll tell you, the viewer, that I personally am already wary of High Priest Ranveer based on what we've heard and seen in other storylines, so we will choose carefully what we say here. Alright, you wish to be my priest, but that doesn't tell me much. Tell me, Bhagwan, what is the first duty of a priest? Let's see. I could say to serve the cause of my God and my order, to teach my God's wisdom to others, or to use my knowledge and judgment to serve my community. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I'm not sure if there's a right answer to this question or not. Let's look back here at the journal. Ranveer teaches compassion towards the poor and the helpless himself. And the teachings of Bankamundi are do not take from another, do not harm another, and protect others from harm. Which doesn't help tremendously. All three choices are indicated to be firm in nature. I think that I will say to use my knowledge and judgment to serve my community. Well, I'm torn between 1 and 3, honestly, and I have absolutely no idea what to say here. I think I'll pick number 1, in the interest of time and efficiency. I think I'll choose number 1 and say to serve the cause of my God and my order. All right, he's accepting of that answer. So you would be a soldier in Bankamundi's army. We can always use more of them. We're fighting a war for the city's spirit, and it's far from over. But this is not the first standard you've marched under, is it? You are a priest caste, and you are not young. I could say, my old order is gone, why fight for what has ceased to be? I could say, your temple erased my order months ago, yours would seem to be the higher cause. Or I could say, I have children that need supporting. I will carry whatever banner is required of me. I think I'll be firm. And, although, tempted to say number 3, because that's probably the truth. I don't know if that's the answer that a priest would give to the high priest. It might not be, good politics to say this. So we'll say number 1. My old order is gone. Why fight for what has ceased to be? Tell me, do you wish to be more than a humble priest? My hierarchy is vast. For a man of strength and wisdom, there is much divine work to be done. I could be firm and say humility suits me as long as my children are provided for. I could be firm again and say when I am wise enough in this temple's ways to qualify for advancement, I will be wise enough to decide. And I could be firm and say, yes, I would. I take every opportunity to do the most I can. It's difficult to know which to choose here. Again, all 3 choices are indicated to be firm. But this choice seems to really be kind of the middle road. This is kind of the most ambitious response, but I think I'll choose number 2 and say that when I'm wise enough in this temple's ways to qualify for advancement, I'll be wise enough to decide. We will see, he says. I have one final question. You know that when I stood where you stood, this was one small temple on a street full of them. Bankamundi told me that this was unacceptable. She told me that there is a time and place for every message and for every course of action, and that it was long past time the principles of compassion and protection reigned in the streets. I am he who heard her word and made it manifest. I know in my heart that my voice, the voice of compassion, is all that keeps these slums from boiling over. Speak honestly. If Bankamundi appeared to you and told you to kill me, would you do it? What? I could be firm and say, what? No, I would not trust that vision. I could be firm and say I couldn't. I would fear for the city if you perished. I could say, yes, I would. I would be hesitant and say, I don't know if I would have the strength. I could be firm and say, I would come to you with a vision and ask you what was best. Again, I wonder what would be best to say. I think that I'm tempted to say number 5 here. I don't know what all this is about, really, this temple. It's difficult to ask these questions, to answer these questions, not knowing much about the temple. Of course, we know what we've heard from other storylines, and, honestly, I'm a bit suspicious of High Priest Ranveer at this point as a player. But as the character, attempting to role-play the character to some degree, I don't know that I think that this priest would be somewhat cautious in his responses. So I think I'm going to go with number 5. I would come to you with the vision and ask you what was best. I'm also kind of tempted by number 3, just say, yes, I would kill you. But I don't know. This one, the number 5 seems a bit more measured and a bit more cautious, which might befit our character a bit more, given that he's new here and still has much to learn, and probably wouldn't want to get off on the wrong foot right at the beginning of his time at this temple. So we'll go with number 5. I would come with you to the vision and ask you what was best. A good answer. We are all of us Bankamundi's servants. That means whatever Bankamundi would do, that is what must be done, and I would recognize that. From now until Bankamundi sees otherwise, you are a servant of the city. Time to set aside your layman's duties and begin doing real priest work, yes? Go on. Ask Dea what needs doing. I'll be watching you with interest. So, that's the High Priest. Here we are. We're bald. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. It didn't look bald in the picture of the traits, but, what does that mean? Nothing, probably. Alright, here's the temple. Okay, on our map. What does this button do? Oh, hey, look at that. Okay, there's the slums, I take it. Let's take a look in our journal. Okay, we've looked at all this, but now we have a quest. Serving the temple. Well, I suppose I'm a priest again. My duties are a little more direct than they were last time I was initiated into a temple. Apparently, I'm to report immediately to the man called Dea and receive a task. Alright, so that's what we need to do. Let's see what we've got in our pockets. We've got 8 coins. We have symbol of Bankamundi, a newly minted symbol of Bankamundi given to you when you first arrived at Ranveer's steps. Okay. So, okay. Oh, look! Walls have appeared. Just like they did when we were in the village. Oh, alright. I did not necessarily intend to talk to him, but I think as soon as you get close enough, it happens automatically. You're initiated. Good. We'll talk things over later, but now I need someone to get outside and pass out bread in Priya's place. This has not been a good morning for her or for us. Priya said she saw some Naga had snuck in by the east wall, so stay away from them. Naga don't get bread rations. Now go. And remember, Dea is the man who's been here 10 years longer than Ranveer has. So, I wonder how he feels about the new order that Ranveer has ushered in. We'll find out, I suppose. Alright, we're probably supposed to go out here to the hungry crowd, I would think. And there's a priestess Priya. We'll go try to talk to her before we go outside. Yeah, so... Okay, we've got bread. Let's see, this bread is of lower quality than what you need to feed your children, but it will sustain life. Okay, all 3 of these say the same thing. Let's see who else we might be able to speak to. Oops. I was trying to move there by clicking around a little bit. I think it works a little bit better to use WASD. Let's talk to Priest Sunmeat. Those bastards, those sick murderous bastards, did you hear what they did to Prabal? I could be hesitant and say, what happened? I could be cautioning and say, please, take a breath. Anger helps no one. Or, Samit, I have to get going. I'm needed outside. I'm going to ask what happened. I'd like to know. Well, let's see if is there a journal entry on him? Okay, no, I didn't think so. Probably a fairly minor character then, but alright, so let's say, well, what happened? Bhagwan, he's barely breathing. Prabal went out to speak in the slums, and some people thought he was carrying our medicine, and they cornered him and nearly killed him. We're trying to help those people, and they come at us like hungry animals. I could be hesitant and say, oh dear, I don't know what to say. I could be chiding and say they're just desperate. If they weren't desperate, they wouldn't need us in the first place. Or I could be firm and say, Samit, please, I'm needed elsewhere. I think I'll be chiding and say they're just desperate. If they weren't desperate, they wouldn't need us. Worthless, ungrateful bastards. I hope the Naga eat them all. I hope the whole slums burn to the ground. Oh my, that's a bit extreme. There's a temple patron. Where is Priestess Priya? This might be her. Okay, is there anything in here? Oh, here's Prabal. Why don't we speak to him? No, please no. Okay, so he doesn't have anything to tell us. Alright. Priya says there's always too many of them, and they're all starving, and if I don't feed some of them, they'll die. And they say things, terrible things. I'm sorry, Bhagwan. I always pass out bread, and today I couldn't do it. I could be gentle and say, I understand. I could be firm and say, just get some rest. You're no good to the city like this. I could be hesitant and say, is the job always like this? I think I'll say this, and see if she'll give us some more information. You'll see for yourself soon enough. Oh, you'll see. Oh, well, that's comforting. Does the temple patron have anything to say to us? Okay. Just some flavor text. Let's see if there's anybody else that we need to talk to. Another temple patron. Oh, okay, there's another priestess down here, and I think that she has a journal entry, if I remember correctly. Priestess Shatura. Will you talk to me? Okay, here we go. A word to the wise, Bhagwan. Don't give anything to the children. They're all members of street gangs. And most of anything you give them is going to end up on the black market. I could be hesitant and say, I see. I could say, be chiding and say, how do you know? Be firm and say, I feel like that's a risk I'd have to take. And be hesitant and say, what if I make them eat the bread on the spot? I think I'll be hesitant and say, I see. I'm new here, and I'm trying to figure out the ways of the temple. So I think at the moment it's better to be maybe a little more reserved and at least mildly inquisitive to try to learn things here. Let's say I see. Good luck out there. Okay, well, she didn't have much else. Will she talk to us? Try to keep your head. You'll hear some terrible things out there, I promise. Okay. Alright. There's a crowd. And there's some people out here. Can we talk to these people? Look, friend, I would stay away from the garrison if I were you. You'll find 40 of J-Deep's finest who've had just enough to eat to get real ornery, and not all of us like priests much. Okay. Fair enough. Where are we? Let's look on the map. Okay, so I think when we were Asha, we could get up to about right here, or so. Alright. Let's get out of the map here. And see if we can speak to the priest. Their gratitude makes all the risk worthwhile. Flavor text, Lieutenant, J-Deep's men, down here. Anybody down here to speak to? Hey, there's a Naga over here. Human, please. Okay, this is interesting. No one else would help us. Please, my babies are starving. I can either give them a loaf of bread or leave. Well. Already faced with an interesting choice here. I think I'm going to leave for now and hope that I can come back here. I don't feel like I have quite enough information yet to be intelligently making decisions. I I can't speak to them, it would seem. Is there anywhere I can go up here? No, that's the edge of the map. Okay. Fair enough. Let's walk down here. Can't go that way. Okay, that's the way out of this area. Alright, let's see if we can speak to the lieutenant here. Okay, apparently we can't. Can we talk to somebody? Okay, let's talk to this guy. Don't look at us. When we try bringing food out to them, we end up having to kill someone. Oh, gosh. Okay. Alright, let's have pity. I can't find food for myself anymore. I can barely walk. I'm going to give her a loaf of bread. Alright, so now we're down to 2 loaves of bread. Here's an angry man. There's a man, a woman, a man. Let's go give bread to this old man. Just a loaf of bread? Please, I can't find food. I can barely walk. I've never been this hungry in my life. Let's give him a loaf of bread. How did it get like this? How can I go on like this? Alright, we are going to take a break from handing out bread for the moment because I think that we're closing in on the half hour here. And I'm trying to keep these to around 30 minutes or at least less than 45. Yeah, we're going to stop here for now. When we come back, we're going to decide what to do about giving this last loaf of bread. Should we give it to one of the humans or should we give it to the Naga? I really don't know what to do. But we'll be making those decisions later, and since it's Iron Man mode, they'll be permanent decisions. So until then, I hope you're doing well, hope you continue to do well, and I'll see you in the next one.